So, hi, my name is Julie Brew, and I'm a researcher at Mathematica. I'm talking today about the WhatWorks Clearinghouse and the types of resources that it offers to support literacy instruction. The WhatWorks Clearinghouse is an initiative of the Institute of Education Sciences within the U.S. Department of Education. And the WWC reviews education research to identify well designed and well implemented research, and then summarizes findings from that high quality research. The goal is to help educators and decision makers identify and implement evidence based practices. So, I'm going to talk today generally about the types of resources available. And if you want to learn more about the content of specific WWC literacy resources, I encourage you to attend our other sessions. So, as shown in this infographic, there are several ways to identify which interventions and approaches are backed by high quality evidence of effectiveness. So, first, there are practice guides, and these are focused on identifying evidence based practices to address specific challenges that educators face in classrooms or schools. And there are a number of practice guides focused on topics within the literacy area. So, for example, there is a practice guide on foundational skills to support reading for understanding in kindergarten through third grade. And another example is teaching secondary students to write effectively. Practice guides include 3 to 5 recommendations of practices supported in studies that meet WWC review standards. And these practices are typically low or no cost, so they can be adopted by classroom teachers or other educators on their own. And each recommendation includes a set of how to steps and tips for implementing the practices, along with examples and potential roadblocks and solutions. There's a panel of researchers and practitioners with expertise in the topic area that plays an important role in identifying and writing the recommendations and ensuring they're both grounded in evidence and that they're feasible and accessible for educators to understand and apply. And in addition to the full length practice guides, there are a number of accompanying resources such as tip sheets, videos, and professional learning community guides. And these can be useful to reinforce the points in the practice guide and also to use as resources to reference when planning lessons or applying the recommendations in schools. So, second on this infographic, you'll see intervention reports. And these focus on only one intervention, and they summarize evidence from a systematic review of all high quality, publicly available research on that intervention. So the intervention might be a specific curriculum or a program. And one recent example of an intervention report was in the literacy area, and it focused on extreme reading, a supplemental literacy curriculum that's designed to improve literacy skills of struggling students in grades 6 to 12. So, intervention reports include a detailed description of the intervention, information about how and where it's been implemented, and a summary of the effectiveness of the intervention at improving various student outcomes. So, finally, there's a third type of resource that might be useful in identifying evidence based interventions and approaches, and that's individual study reviews. And these individual study reviews are the ingredients or the building blocks that go into practice guides and intervention reports. But users can also access the results of these individual study reviews to learn about the quality of research and the findings about effectiveness in individual studies. So, this could be useful if there's an intervention of interest that's been reviewed by the What Works Clearinghouse, but it doesn't have a full intervention report. And it might also be useful if users want to know about findings for a specific type of setting or a population that's included in a given study. So, all three of these types of resources are found on the WWC website, and this infographic includes some useful links and summaries of each type of resource. And now I'm happy to take any questions that you have about the WhatWorks Clearinghouse or the various resources available.